Hi everybody, so I want to share a story right now. It's a story of negligence in a hospital, but this is about the staff that work in the hospital. And the reason why I'm recording this is because also I would like to receive some stories from you guys to share with us. But the most important part is, so if you find yourself in a hospital and you find yourself kind of like I hear this story already, it sounds similar, you already are ahead of the game because we already sadly went through that situation. So I want that as we put stories together, you guys and us, we can start bringing like almost to a courtroom so many testimonies that it come to a point that at least in Texas, the hospitals will have no choice but to reevaluate their policies and procedures and change. That's my hope. They change. So in this case, we were at UTMB Hospital in Galveston. UTMB Jenny Seeley Hospital in Galveston. Galveston is a little island outside of Houston in Texas. So it was late evening and the hospital, this was a nurse. But the nurse was not direct employee from UTMB Jenny Seeley Hospital. The nurse was contract. So they have contracts with this company, staffing company, agency, and they send sometimes helps, nurses or nurse assistants. In this case, I noticed that Jeffrey, I touched him and there was something in him that it was just, I noticed he was not feeling good. So I noticed when I touched him that he had fever. And it was alarming to me because I knew that whatever situation that it wasn't in the realm of the normal to us could be very, very dangerous. So what I did when I noticed that Jeffrey had fever, I went outside the room looking for my nurse. The nurse station was basically in front of our bedroom. Well, I already knew who my nurse was for that night. So I saw the nurse on the hall. She was sitting in a little part that she has a little table and she puts her laptop there and she's there looking whatever that she needs to be looking at and for her patients or whatever, And she was there. I noticed that she wasn't in the computer. I noticed she was just looking at her cell phone on that little table. When I saw her, I already feel here something. I felt that this is going to be a problem. And at this point, I have already sadly learned just with my eye, I kind of knew what type of nurses were going to be nice, gentle, highly, how can I say, highly good, very professional with a lot of sharp mind and education, and how those ones were going to tackle really fast whatever issue, and or which one were going to be nice and very compassionate with you and pay attention to what you say, and others how rude they were going to be, how impossible to talk or to address, to approach. And I learned like pretty much profiling. I could see, according to everything in a cocktail, which one I was getting for the day or for the night. And so anyway, in this case was one of those ones. And I approached her very carefully, which that alone is pathetic. And I told her that I felt that Jeffrey had fever, and if she could come please whenever that she could, but if she could come please and take his temperature. So she turned around and she said to me, how do you know that he has fever? And that alone was to me like up to this moment, when I remember that emotion that I felt at that moment, I want to cry of the how hard has been for me already for months and months and months and months and months and months and months to be living in a hospital with my son in that condition, with not sleeping, with barely eating, and suddenly someone that is being paid to be there for you, somebody that chose that career, is just behaving towards us in like that. Infuriating, to say the least. So I said to her, I just touch him with my hand, and I can see that he has fever. So she said to me, she said, that's not a thermometer. So that's not a way that you know that if you have fever or not. So I said, yes, that's why I'm asking you to please come and take his temperature, because for him to get fever can be very dangerous. So she said, oh, okay, I'm coming. I went to the bedroom and passed some time, and she never came. So I touched Jeffrey again as I seen him. Poor him, he cannot express himself. He cannot even say, I'm thirsty, give me water, put me ice on my tongue. He was feeling really bad those 2 months that we were in that place. And I just went and touched him again, and the fever was higher. I was afraid for his kidneys function. I was afraid because I knew fever is an indication of infection, and in his already vulnerable body, it could be deadly. I didn't know what kind of virus or bacteria or what kind of infection he had. So it was whatever thing like this, you enter immediate panic. So I went outside again, and I asked her, I said, excuse me. She was in the same position, same situation. I said, excuse me. It was hard for me to come close to her because I knew the look she was going to give me. I knew. So I said, excuse me. I said, could you please come and take Jeffrey's temperature? It's going higher. The fever is going higher. She said, how do you know? Do you took the temperature? I said, with a little bit of attitude at that moment, no. That's why I'm asking you to come, please, and take the temperature. How do I know? I am a mother. We mother knows, as we touch the skin, compared to our own temperature, if he has fever, if our children had fever, or another human being has fever or not. I said the AC in hospitals are very low. So you know very well when someone has fever. So she said, I'm coming. But she didn't get up. I went to the room. She never came. So past time, I went and looked for the head of nurses on the floor. And I told her what's going on. And the head of nurses came straight to the room with another nurse to take the temperature, Jeffrey's temperature. And Jeffrey had high temperature. Jeffrey was 102 or 102.5, which that means it can cause brain damage. It can cause brain damage to a brain damaged person. So immediately she starts saying what it needed to be done right away. And that moment the other nurse came running. And she said, oh, what's going on? Do you need to take the temperature? And I said, no, there's no need. You can leave now. Actually, please leave, I said, because your boss has already taken the temperature. I'm going to say this. It is a miracle alone that I'm telling this story right now without medication and not crying. Because as I am telling you this story, I want to cry. And I want to cry because it's not fair. It's not fair that we go through things like that in our most vulnerable stages in life. Us, or our loved ones, and that we are in a hospital and we need to beg for help. And knowing that this was someone with severe brain damage, trying to recover, fighting to live, to get better. That someone that enters into this field behave like this. But you know what it make it worse? That the hospitals do nothing about it. Nothing about it. I don't know if because they're short of staff and they feel that they have no choice but to put up with this type of human beings. But I think so that it would be a very good system within hospitals that can report behaviors of nurses and any other staff, nurse assistants, and they can, between hospitals, share information about a person, and that person could have a type of repercussion even if it's in salary, even if it's not paid for that day. Something has to happen. Don't tell me that there's no a way to make corrections of staff by HR in a hospital just because you don't have that many staff out there. Because they also need a job. They also need their money. And that's the leverage that they can have. But here we are. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. And if you guys have a story regarding this type of issues, please go to Jeffrey's Journey in Legacy.org. Jeffrey's Journey NAND Legacy.org, and go to the page that is how to join us, how to share your stories as well. There's the link, there's the email that you guys can send the video. It's a 15-20 minutes videos that you guys can send us telling us what you went through. Thank you so much.